Hi guys, it's Stock Curry, and we've got to talk about the hottest thing in the stock market right now. It's not EVs, it's not SPACs, it's not penny stocks, it's short squeezes. People are talking about short squeeze mania. Look at GME, it was up 100%. Are you kidding me? One day? This is crazy, guys. You can make so much money right now. But I want to tell you guys that a lot of these moves are happening in the pre-market and after hours. Look at AMC. AMC was up 12% today during the market hours. But after hours, AMC went up 65%. Now, if you don't have access to pre-market trading and you don't have access to after hours trading, you are missing out on these massive run-ups. So if you don't have access to pre-market or after hours trading, sign up for Webull in my link in the description below, and they're going to give you 4 free stock when you sign up using my link and deposit $100. But you only have a few days left to do that. That offer expires. It's done in a few days. So sign up for Webull using my link in the description below. You're going to get 4 free stock when you sign up and deposit $100. That's going to give you access to pre-market and after hours trading. Now, I've got a lot to talk about. We're going to get to the next short squeeze plays, so let's get into it. For those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Stock Curry. I used to work as an analyst for some large investment banks, and now I analyze stock picks from the top 15 YouTubers. I then compile all of my analysis into a daily video that I post right here on this channel. I spend hours every single day watching YouTube videos so that you don't have to. All you have to do is watch one video each day and you will get every single stock pick from the top 15 YouTubers. And all I ask in return is that you hit that like button and subscribe to get notified when I release my next video. In fact, I'll give you 5 seconds to do that right now. All right, before we get into today's stock picks, I just want to remind everyone that I am not a financial advisor and none of the YouTubers I follow are financial advisors only. This video is purely for entertainment purposes only. Now, I understand that these stock symbols are a little bit hard to see, so if you'll take a look in the description, I do list all of the stocks that we're going to talk about today in the order that we talk about them. All right, let's get started with today's stock picks. First up is ABML. This is American Battery Metals Corporation. They are a lithium battery recycler. StockMo said this company's market cap is now almost $2 billion, which means it is no longer a penny stock. StockMo also said this company is just getting started. In light of that, I'm changing the play on this from a penny stock to a long-term hold. Since this is now a long-term play, I recommend that you watch StockMo's video that he uploaded Tuesday morning because he goes into great detail about the growth potential and finances of this company for the long term. Next up is AMC. Now I have to show you the 5-minute chart on this because the after hours are crazy. This is AMC movie theaters. Dead Inside let us know about an article that came out yesterday where AMC said bankruptcy was off the table after they raised $917 million in equity and debt capital. Dead Inside acknowledged that what's going on with GameStop right now is insane. He's not saying AMC could be next, but he did acknowledge it. Dead Inside warned that this is risky, and Dead Inside said he is not invested in AMC. Informed Trade says this is a candidate for the next short squeeze like GameStop. But he did warn that he does not recommend people get involved in these short squeeze plays because of the extreme volatility with these plays. After those two YouTubers uploaded their videos, AMC ran up almost 66% after hours. Zip Trader said this after hours move shows that AMC is currently in a short squeeze. Smart Trader said this will most likely rise above $10 in the pre-market, and who knows where it will go from there. It could go to $15 or $20 or even $30, nobody knows. Personally, I did buy AMC yesterday and I'm still holding. I will be watching this like a hawk, looking for the right moment to sell. If you do not already own AMC, I do think it is too late to get into this play. Please do not chase. You will lose money. If you are not currently holding AMC, please leave the gambling to Wall Street Bets and go find some better plays. Obviously, I'm not your financial advisor and you do whatever you want to do, but if it were me and I did not already own AMC, I would be ignoring it, just like I'm ignoring GameStop. Next up is AMD. This is Advanced Micro Devices, better known as AMD. They are a computer processor and graphics manufacturer. Chris Sain let us know that AMD reporting earnings today, and the stock went up about 1% after hours. I want to remind you of the Iron Condor options play that I showed you guys yesterday. This is the kind of non-movement in price where an Iron Condor would make money. Next up is ATOS. This is ATOS Therapeutics. They're a pharmaceutical company. They have a few things in the pipeline, but the most exciting one for Ken and Grace is a nasal spray that slows the spread of the pandemic virus. And the most exciting catalyst is that the CEO of ATOS is speaking at a medical conference alongside Dr. Fauci this week. Now, the medical conference was Monday through Wednesday, and remember how I always say to buy the hype and sell the news? Well, if you look at this chart, you can see that ATOS ran up going into the conference and then sold off today during the conference. So a short-term swing trade in ATOS is not a good idea. But what about buying ATOS as a long-term play? Well, there's only one analyst covering ATOS, and they gave ATOS a buy rating with a $5 price target. Based upon today's closing price, that means this stock could double by the end of this year. Ken and Grace gave a buy-enter price of $3 and an ideal buy-in price of $2. Next up is Bbby. This is Bed Bath & Beyond. They're an American retail store. Informed Trade says this could be the next short squeeze like GameStop, but he did warn that he does not recommend people get involved in these short squeeze plays because of the extreme volatility with these plays. Next up is BNGO. This is Bionano Genomics. They're a genomic structural variants testing machine manufacturer. Richard Allen let us know about some news that just came out. Bionano added Microsoft Azure high-performance cloud computing as an option for Sapphire users to significantly reduce the amount of time it takes to analyze structural variants in a human genome. Bionano offers Sapphire users the option of either using dedicated servers or compute on demand, known as COD. COD through Microsoft Azure reduces the compute cost by more than 50% and reduces the compute time by more than 30%. The reason that this is such a big deal is because by getting results to doctors faster, more doctors are likely to use their Sapphire machine, which could result in more revenue for BNGO. Now, most of Richard Allen's video covered the Festival of Genomics that Bionano participated in. There were some audio issues with Richard's video, but I would still recommend that you watch it if you want details on what happened at the Festival of Genomics. Next up is CCIV. This is a SPAC rumored to be merging with Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors is an American EV company and a competitor to Tesla. StockMo likes a lot about Lucid Motors, including their factory expansion, their growth targets, and their vehicles. But right now, the question is whether or not they are going to merge with CCIV. StockMo thinks that we could get an answer by next Monday, but acknowledged that there could be a delay due to the Saudi factory negotiations that still need to be completed. I talked about the possible delay with CCIV in yesterday's video, so I encourage you to watch that for more details on the Saudi factory and the possible delay to the merger. On the chart, I drew two levels of resistance and support for this stock. The first one is at $22.40. The second one is at $18.75. Based upon these, I'm giving a buy-under price of $22.50 and an ideal buy-in price of $19. I wanted to draw these lines for you so that you can see how I determine my buy-under and ideal buy-in prices. Next up is CLII. This is a SPAC and they are merging with EVgo. EVgo is the nation's largest fast-charging EV station company. This is a competitor to ChargePoint, currently under SPAC symbol SBE. Late last night, ZipTrader put out a video and said with yesterday's 10% sell-off, that would have been a good dip buying opportunity. However, now that CLII has run up over 17% today, you'll have to decide for yourself if it's still worth it to buy CLII on the hopes that it runs up going into the merger. Just a reminder that it took a few weeks for SBE to really start taking off, and the next catalyst will be a set date on when the merger will take place, and right now we're still waiting for that. After hours, Ken and Grace released a video showing that CLII is under investigation for possible breaches of fiduciary duties and other violations of law related to the merger. Now, Ken and Grace said that the law firm that is investigating them basically just throws darts up against a board to see which ones will stick. This law firm is investigating just about every SPAC, trying to find anything where they can do a class action lawsuit and get a huge payday. So my takeaway from Ken and Grace's video is to ignore the investigation and use any public concern and dip in price as a buying opportunity. Ken and Grace did give a buy-under price of $22 and an ideal buy-in price of $17. Don't forget that SPACs tend to run up going into a merger and then sell off after the merger, so if you do buy CLII, I would sell right before the merger. Next up is Fcel. This is Fuel Cell Energy. They are a renewable energy company. Chris Sain gave an update today letting us know that it finally cracked $20. Chris Sain has been holding Fcel since it was $7.76. As far as I know, Chris Sain was the first YouTuber to mention Fcel, and he remains the only YouTuber besides Larry Jones to mention it. It is these kinds of plays that explain why Chris Sain's channel exploded last year. Next up is GILT. This is GILT Satellite Networks. Tech Conversations let his subscribers know about GILT today. Of course, 2 weeks ago, I let you know that both Mcash and Kenna Grace mentioned this stock, and it has gone up 60% since then. For those of you who have not yet heard about GILT, it went up after they received a huge contract to provide communication services in Mexico. There's also the possibility that ARK Invest might be adding GILT to their new ARKX Space Exploration ETF. Also, they announced yesterday that they had a successful test of their new electronically steered antenna that is able to lock onto satellites automatically while greatly reducing interference with neighboring satellites. This is also a dividend stock, although they only pay out once a year and they just had their payout. Next up is Gme Gamestop. StockMo explained what was going on with Gme today. Basically, Wall Street Bets, a Reddit community with over 2 million members, all got together and bought Gme, triggering a short squeeze. It makes sense for GameStop to do an emergency stock offering to raise a lot of capital and shore up their balance sheet. StockMo said he is really surprised at what is happening right now. The stock is up twice as high as its highest price ever back when GameStop was at its peak. At some point though, this stock will get back down to where it should be based upon fundamentals, and when that happens, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money. StockMo did explain that he is not buying GME or shorting GME, he's just watching it as a fan of the market. ZipTrader says GME should be a $40 or $50 stock at best. ZipTrader warned that he does not want to see anybody get hurt, and that GME is a stock that a lot of people are going to get hurt with once it pulls back. Smart Trader said that he's not touching it, and that if you buy GME right now, you're just gambling. Next up is HUYA. This is a Bitcoin play. ZipTrader gave an update on this late last night, saying that although it has already run up 30% from when he first mentioned it, he still has a price target on HUYA of $30 to $35, so this is still a play you might want to consider. Next up is HYLN. This is HYLN. Chris Sain reminded everyone that this is a long-term play for him. He does have a price target on HYLN of $60. Next up is IDEX. This is Ideanomics. IDEX is a long-term play for Chris Sain. Chris Sain has an average cost of $3.73 and is holding long-term, just like he says he should have done on NNDM. Next up is IPOD and IPOF. These are SPACs. They have not announced a merger target yet, but ZipTrader said he wanted IPOD and IPOF to be cheap before buying. If you can get these below $14 or $15, that would be great. Next up is Jagx. This is Jaguar Health, and they're a pharmaceutical company. This stock already had a run-up, but Tech Conversations mentioned it today because they regained compliance to remain NASDAQ listed. Also, Oasis Capital reported a 10% stake in Jagx, which means institutional investors are buying it. Further, they released news today that one of their subsidiary companies, Napo Pharmaceuticals, is in discussions to go public via SPAC. Jaguar Health is holding a webcast Wednesday to discuss the proposed SPAC merger. Just keep in mind that the merger has not yet been confirmed, but merger confirmation could be announced Wednesday during the webcast. Also keep in mind that analysts have an average price target on Jagx of $5, so there is still a 53% upside potential from today's closing price. Next up is Li Auto. This is a Chinese EV company. ZipTrader said that the last time Li dropped this low, it eventually went on a rebound. Li also has about 35% upside to get back to all-time highs. Technicals aside, while Li is growing quickly, ZipTrader said Li has some cost control issues, which is pushing the stock price down. That said, Li is only trading at 12 times revenues, while the other EV stocks such as NIO and XPEV are trading at 20x and 15x revenues respectively. So while ZipTrader sees all three EV stocks going up, he said Li was beat down unjustifiably, and he sees Li as a quote-unquote must-add money to play. Next up is Macy's. Chris Sain first started recommending M when it was trading at around $10 last month. Yesterday, Chris Sain gave a short price target of $15, which it reached today. And previously, Chris Sain had given M a long-term price target of $20. He said he will continue to go up, and he recommended buying M. Next up is MARA. This is a Bitcoin miner. ZipTrader said MARA took a massive hit when Bitcoin took a nosedive. But on that drop, MARA used it as a buying opportunity to buy $150 million of Bitcoin. Long-term, ZipTrader sees MARA is way undervalued at this price. He sees any dip as an opportunity to buy long-term, so long as you are willing to stomach the short-term volatility. Next up is MSFT. This is Microsoft. Chris Sain recommended buying MSFT as a long-term hold back on January 3rd. Microsoft reported earnings today and they beat. The stock was up almost 4% after hours. Next up is NNDM. This is Nano Dimension. They're a 3D computer chip printer manufacturer. Chris Sain placed a limit order to buy NNDM at $15. For those of you who want to buy a stock we talk about, but you want to wait to buy it until under our buy under price, placing a limit order is a great way to do that without having to watch the stock all day. When you place a limit order, you will only buy the stock at or below the price you set. So in Chris Sain's case, his order will only get filled if the price of NNDM drops down to $15 or below. ZipTrader said that if you are still holding NNDM, then you should continue to hold until it gets to ZipTrader's price target of $25. Ken & Grace also gave a price target of $25. If you want to buy more, or if you're not already in, ZipTrader said it's fine to buy a dip under $15. And Ken & Grace also gave a buy under price of $15. So we have strong consensus on both the $15 buy under price and the $25 price target. But then Richard Allen released a video with some major news on NNDM. Nano Dimension notified the SEC that they are going to meet on February 15th to vote whether or not they will double the number of shares available. Richard Allen explained that essentially what has happened is that Nano Dimension can't do any more share offerings because they ran out of shares to sell. If this vote is approved, Nano Dimension will be able to do more share offerings and raise more money. There are a lot of different ways you can take that news, and I'm not going to make any assumptions or recommendations. But feel free to watch Richard Allen's video on this news because he brings up a lot of great questions, and there is a good conversation going on in the comments section of his video. Next up is OEG. This is Orbital Energy, and they're a solar panel company. Jack Spencer let us know that OEG has already hit his price target of $9. Jack Spencer does not own OEG, but he did learn a lot of lessons. One thing he learned is that while you can make a little bit of money swing trading penny stocks, the real money comes when you are willing to hold a little bit longer. I explained in my video yesterday why OEG jumped up so much. Jack Spencer explained today that very often, Wall Street will not take a penny stock company seriously until after it has already run up 300, 400, or 500%. And then people are scared to buy in because they have already had their big run up. So Jack Spencer learned that you need to buy penny stocks early before people are hyped up on them. Another thing Jack Spencer learned is that it is very hard to put a price target on a penny stock because potential contracts, mergers, and other growth factors can add significant value to the company. So in the future, Jack Spencer will be taking potential growth catalyst into consideration when valuing penny stocks, and he will also be holding much longer. All of that said, on this particular stock, Jack Spencer does think that they still have room to run up, but at current prices, there are better plays out there. Next up is Pltr. This is Palantir, and they are a data analytics company. Late last night, ZipTrader reminded everyone that you should play the uptrend before a catalyst and then sell right before the catalyst. I call this buying the hype and selling the news. Since Pltr had demo day today, that would mean buying going into today and then selling yesterday or this morning. Obviously, by the time you are watching this video, demo day has already happened, so I just want you to see how stocks go up leading into a catalyst and then very often sell off post-catalyst. And we saw that today with Pltr being down over 3%. Next up is RIDE. This is Lordstown Motors Corp. They're an EV company. Informed Trades mentioned Lordstown Motors as having the same catalyst and price movement reasons as Workhorse. So when I get to WKHS later, just know that everything I say about WKHS also applies to RIDE. The only difference is that they aren't as many short sellers in RIDE as there are in WKHS. Also, please take note of the consolidation lines that I formed. Those are going to be important when we start talking about WKHS. Notice that RIDE is still within its consolidation lines. Next up is SPE. This is a SPAC and they are merging with ChargePoint. Chris Sain said SPE is a long-term hold for him. I just want to remind everyone that we have a buy-under price of $40 with an ideal buy-in price of $36. Next up is Sklz. This is Sklz and they're an esports gaming company. Stockmo thinks this will continue to grow and revenues will continue to increase. Stockmo says this company could be a game changer. Stockmo thinks that if you hold Sklz for the next 5 to 10 years, you could see a 500% to 1000% profit. Next up is Spce. This is Virgin Galactic, and this got on my financial friend's radar when it shot up 17% today. After he realized that there was no news on it, and ARK Invest was not buying it in a large enough quantity to cause that large of a price increase, he started looking into the possibility possibility of a short squeeze. He says that the consistency of the price increase is not consistent with a short squeeze, which means a short squeeze has not yet started. But I will tell you that he missed something key about today's price increase, and that is what is happening over on Reddit. Over 2 million Redditors are currently working together to raise the price of SPCE so that they can trigger a short squeeze. While their efforts aren't as focused as they are on GME and AMC, this could be next in line. And Informed Trade says that while SPCE might not be experiencing a short squeeze yet, he thinks short sellers might be getting scared and selling early just in case SPCE gets squeezed. So I did buy SPCE for the same reason that I bought AMC yesterday, which was the potential for a short squeeze. The difference between SPCE and AMC is that SPCE has not yet run up the way AMC has, so while it's not nearly as great as it was when I bought in yesterday, there is still a lot of upside potential in SPCE. I still haven't decided if I'm going to hold this long term or swing trade it, but I knew that I wanted to buy SPCE. SPCE has both short-term catalysts as well as long-term catalysts. So I think that no matter what kind of trader you are, you'll want to consider investing in SPCE. This sounds like a long-term hold for my financial friend, and he said he did not sell any of his SPCE today, despite being up 85% already. Next up is Stpk. This ticker symbol will be changing to STEM soon. STEM is the first public company that is a pure play in smart energy storage. Specifically, they use AI to optimize energy usage by automatically switching between battery power, on-site generation such as solar, and grid power. This in turn can save corporations and governments millions of dollars in energy savings. My financial friend showed us that over the past 2 weeks, Stpk has been trending down. Now they came out with updates lately showing that they already have 100% of their projected 2021 revenue in contracted backlog. That might mean that they're going to beat their 2021 projections, but it's hard to tell what the stock will do post earnings because we still don't know how the pandemic affected their Q4 2020 earnings. That said, my financial friend said he picked up some more shares today, and if you believe in this company for the long term, I would say this is the kind of dip that you want to be buying in at for a long-term hold. Next up is TTOO. This is T2 Biosystems. They're a genomics company similar to BNGO. I don't understand what this company does, but from Mcash's video, it sounds like they manufacture a device that is capable of testing for multiple life-threatening diseases at once. It can find diseases even before traditional methods are able to, and early detection is saving lives. They already have products in the market, and their device is currently being used for clinical work. I'm not going to go into any more details because I really do not understand this company. So please go watch Mcash's video that he uploaded Tuesday morning because this sounds like the next BNGO, and Mcash said the stock could go up to $15 by the end of this year, which would represent a 434% upside from today's closing price. I really do not like buying stock in companies that I do not understand, but after watching BNGO go up over 500%, I am seriously thinking about buying TTOO. Also, my financial friend discussed TTOO too, but he mostly just said the same thing Mcash did. My financial friend did buy TTOO today. Next up is VLDR. Smart Trader talked about VLDR yesterday and says this could be the next short squeeze. VLDR has a 50% plus short float. This is one of Smart Trader's top watches for the rest of this week. Next up is WBA Walgreens. Chris Sain first recommended WBA when it was at $40. This is a long-term hold and a dividend stock for Chris Sain. Next up is WKHS. This is Workhorse. They're an American commercial manufacturer getting into EVs. WKHS was up 30% today, and Informed Trades explained why and how you should trade this. Joe Biden made a comment while he was signing a Buy America executive order yesterday. Specifically, Joe Biden said, quote unquote, "The federal government also owns an enormous fleet of vehicles, which we're going to replace with clean electric vehicles made right here in America by American workers." Well, who makes commercial electric vehicles in America using American workers? Workhorse. So even if they don't get the UPS contract, this is crucial for WKHS. ZipTrader said the same thing about WKHS applies to RIDE. Now technically, I want to show you guys that this stock broke out of its consolidation wedge. So just looking at the technicals, WKHS is no longer bound and can continue to going up. Combined with possible catalyst of government contracts, this is a great long-term hold. And Informed Trades also added that this could be a short squeeze since they had a short float of 31%. Informed Trade says that if you are a swing trader, this is the price at which you want to sell and get out. But if you are a long-term investor, you want to continue holding because we could get more upside catalyst at any moment. ZipTrader said to watch WKHS and RIDE closely as we could see these break out into all-time highs again in the next couple of weeks or months. ZipTrader said these can be quite volatile, but to watch the overall direction. Next up is Fcel. This is Fcel Fleet. This company converts gas cars into electric vehicles. Smart Trader says this is another stock with a very high short float that could short squeeze soon. Don't forget that ZipTrader also mentioned the stock last week too. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. Comment down below what you think the next short squeeze is going to be. And if you want to get some free stock, sign up for Webull through my link in the description below, and they will give you 4 free stock when you deposit $100. They're also going to give me 1 free stock. It helps you out and it also helps the channel out. And remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you have a lot of success trading, and I will see you tomorrow.